She spent her adult life spreading love and cheer to all of those around her.
She didn't deserve to pass away like this.
Elizabeth Barraza, better known by her friends and family as Liz, was a 29-year-old data reporter and a Star Wars enthusiast. She found a hobby in making elaborate costumes for herself and her husband Sergio. They both loved cosplaying at theme parks and conventions, but her hobby was not solely for enjoyment. She used these costumes in her role as a volunteer visiting children's hospitals in the Houston area. On the morning of January 25, 2019, Sergio left for work while Elizabeth was setting up a garage sale at their home in Tomball. At 6:52 a.m., a neighbor's surveillance camera shows a dark-colored 2013 or newer Nissan Frontier pulling up in front of Barraza's residence. An unknown individual with long hair is seen getting out of the truck and walking toward Liz. A doorbell camera also captured a brief conversation between the two, and then 4 shots rang out before the individual ran back to their truck and quickly left the scene. It was reported that the killer fired the last shot after she hit the ground. Later, the shooter's vehicle is captured on a neighbor's Ring camera, returning and driving past the Barraza home, seemingly to make sure that Elizabeth is dead. Soon after hearing the gunshots, neighbors called 911, and shortly an ambulance arrived. Elizabeth was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately she was declared dead the following morning. During the investigation, police discovered the surveillance footage and learned that the suspect intended to be in disguise. The suspect was in boots, a nightgown dress, or muumuu, and possibly wearing a wig.
We have so much work to do on this case to really determine motive.
Later, Elizabeth's family held a press conference to seek justice for their loved one. They released the camera footage and set up a GoFundMe account to help raise money for a reward in hopes of finding the shooter. Investigators scrubbed the couple's digital footprint and found no reason anyone would want to hurt them. Authorities said throughout the investigation they've received Crime Stoppers tips from around the world, but they still aren't any closer to finding Barraza's killer. Even the most recent tips they received haven't been significant enough to make a break in the case. Crime Stoppers also increased the reward to $50,000 for information that may lead them to a shooter. After a year and a half, Sergio married another woman named Amber. A lot of people suspected he may be the murderer, although no evidence ever pointed at him. Barraza said he only watched the video one time to see if he could recognize the killer, and that he knows a lot of people think he killed his wife, but he didn't murder her.
I don't understand how someone could do this to her. She didn't deserve to pass away like this.
He also stated that only a few people knew about the garage sale at the time, as they only put up 2 signs the night before, one at the entrance to their neighborhood and one just down the road. During the investigation, he and Amber have spoken with investigators numerous times and taken multiple lie detector tests. They passed them each time. Liz's family is still searching for answers as they diligently share the case and the images of her murder in hopes that someone will come forward with information.
The important thing here is to focus on justice for Liz.
Harris County Detective Wyatt said Barraza's case is not a cold case and it's still active. Meanwhile, her family announced the increased reward in hopes that the public would come forward with details to help solve her case. Until then, the murder of Elizabeth Barraza remains unsolved.
We're hoping that someone will see this. Hopefully they have a heavy heart and they know something. They want to come back and tell us what happened, what they know.